What is up, you guys? So welcome back to yet another video. So we are going to go over a couple of things here, and that is Wake Up Carlsbad, and that is let's see, we're gonna go over who's that just walking past my house?
Yeah.
This person, their dog off leash. That's another thing we're gonna go over a bit later. What were they doing? The heck? Oh yeah. So what we're gonna go over is the speed tables here. And that is, so Kim Trujillo wrote this 2 days ago saying, yes, the speed tables in Tamarack are great, but why were they placed on top of the crosswalk? Wouldn't before be more logical? Okay, what? Jeffrey Utter writes, logic. Kevin O'Keefe writes, which direction is before? Opposite direction would be after. Solution, under the crosswalk. Pete Bayard writes, it makes the crosswalk more visible. Plus, aren't the tables before, after, and after the crosswalk one? If you're speeding up that much between them, you're trying too hard. Kim Trujillo writes to Pete saying, I'd think the monstrosity of that light was its purpose. Just saying the yellow flashers work the same way. Now, didn't Priya mention, and Teresa mention, and Carolyn Luna mention that the flashers do not work? The flashers are unsafe. They do not work. I agree. So should you. Okay, but Kim Trujillo is saying, or Pete Bayard saying to Kim Trujillo is saying, yes, the lights draw attention to the crosswalk. But if you're going to have have speed tables for speed and a light activated for active crossing, you have a choice on where to put them versus the crosswalk, elevating the crosswalk or obscuring view of it seems like an easy choice. A little past the crosswalk isn't really an option in this case due to the location of the various cross streets and reasonable spacing between crosswalks. Pete Bayard also comments saying, Kim, I'll be quick to admit it's an ugly light post system. No idea why it looks like that. I don't know of any others like that. So I'm guessing there's a reason. Well, I'll get used to it, though, as it serves a needed function. I moved here from the East Coast 20 years-ish ago, and for a long time, the telephone lines drove me up the wall with no trees to speak of comparatively. They stood out and were a garish eyesore. I mostly don't see them anymore, unless it's another nice sunset. But I do like my electrical grid internet. Yes, we still have a landline for work. Okay. So have a landline for work in your house. So Pete Bayard, if you're watching this, you have a landline for work. Don't, because doesn't everybody have like one phone for work, one phone for personal? I mean, yeah, I have two iPhones, but my Verizon one's my personal one, and my other one is just, I don't know, anyways. So Andrew Burns writes, don't judge me, I have two phones. Andrew Burns writes, "Pray that's what. Pray tell what's a speed table." Melissa Clark writes into her saying, "A kinder, more gentle, all-inclusive, woke version of a speed bump." Michael Gardner writes, "By accident or design it, make the crosswalk more pedestrian friendly during inclement weather conditions." Kim Trujillo writes to Michael Gardner saying, "Stay centered," with a laughing emoji. Stephen Castillo writes, "There shouldn't be a 20-mile-per-hour speed calming speed bumps and 30-mile-per-hour zone. It's confusing. It's too much. It's too commonplace for the end to outweigh the means." Now, before we continue, I just want to mention that over on these streets over here in Poinsettia, it goes from 50 miles per hour to 40 something miles per hour. That's dangerous. 50 mile per hour is the speed limit on the street. Are you joking right now? So that's one of the things that I want to change with the city. I want to bring forward to the city of Carlsbad because I live here. I've lived here all my life and will be living here for the rest of my life in this house, in this part of Carlsbad. So I find that to be very dangerous. And also, when there are situations like last night when I was at Rite Aid, there was a lady just, I don't know, didn't look like she was doing anything. She just stopped in the middle of a bike lane. And luckily, there was no cars around. Especially with on my scooter, with any scooters that I have that have cruise control, when the cruise control is on, I'm going. I'm not stopping until I have to stop. That's just how it is. Especially with this scooter here. I mean, this scooter is freakishly amazing. So especially with this scooter, when the cruise control it does the beep sound to let me know the cruise control is activated, then I'm on. I'm going, and I don't stop until I don't press the I don't press the brake. Press the brake until I necessarily have to. And so there was a lady in the middle of the bike lane, right? Just sitting there. And I mean, yeah, she had like her flashers, both, those flashers on her car going. I don't know what she was doing. She could have, her car wasn't like in any, she was just sitting, pulled over and to the bike lane, just sitting there looking for something. As I looked over, glanced over real quick, and it looked like she was like looking for something in her car. I don't know. She could have, if she was that desperate to find something in her freaking car, she could have pulled over into a parking lot. She could have waited and pulled over to a parking lot or pulled over to our neighborhood at least, or to Bad Ketis part of the neighborhood, and in front of somebody's house. That would have been a smart idea, or to a parking lot. That would have been a smart idea because cars are going so fast. And so, because during our trip, one of my family members that knows GoPro so well, I'm bringing my GoPro Hero 10 with me, and they're gonna look at it as soon as we get there and out of the car. He said for me to give it to him for him to look at. And so I can't wait for him to look at my GoPro because it hasn't worked in like months. Since October has not worked. So if my GoPro is working, I would have caught that on camera and you would have seen what's going on. But if you were, I mean, that's why I these need to change, because cars are flying down the street so fast. So they're flying down so fast because it's extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. And so for it to be 50-mile-per-hour limit is ridiculous and unsafe. And it shouldn't be like that. Um, you know, uh um and so what if So I mean, the speed limits up here is like dangerous. So the fact that we're getting now, speed bumps, speed tables, speed humps, roundabouts throughout our city, I think is freakishly amazing. I love this that our city is doing this. And the signs, the electronic signs that I see all over this part of Carlsbad, phones down, eyes up, watch out for bicyclists, slow down, things like that, where they say, where they make say that however they do it. I don't know. But I love that we have all this stuff going on. We got speed bumps, we got speed tables, we got speed humps, we got, roundabouts, electronic signs, our blue and white, safer together, slow down Carlsbad signs on all of our lawns, or at least the majority of our lawns, front lawns. I love that this is what we're doing. At least we're doing something. And so I don't know if between now and mid to late 2025, if we're going to have the city of Carlsbad council, if Carlsbad city council, if we're going to have like, any more like meetings about it, like any more like, I guess, I don't like, we talk more about, I don't know, but, let's, let's just be happy. If for those of you that are upset, um and for those of you that are upset about the speed humps, speed tables, speed bumps, roundabouts, these electronic signs, many of them posted on your Carlsbad, and then for all of us that have all these blue and white signs on our front lawns, if you're upset about that, seeing that, you've got a serious problem, because you obviously love speeding in your car. And quite honestly, especially with that lady that's in the bike lane, quite honestly, like, if there was cars going by right when I merge over to the car lane for a second, then merge back in, I could have gotten hit and I could have gotten killed this time. So I'm lucky to be alive from 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, I'm lucky to be alive. 3 years later, I don't know how I'm surviving. I don't know how I'm still alive. I really don't. But I do put that on God, because, that's how I view the world, is that if you do not believe in God and Jesus, and something happens to you and you don't pray to stay alive, then you will die. It's you will die shortly after, so I pray to God to be alive. And while I was in the hospital for those 3 days, because the internal bleeding on my spleen was scary, when the nurses came in my hospital room and told me that internal bleeding on my spleen, I was like, am I going to die? I literally asked her that. I'm like, am I going to die? Because when I hear internal bleeding, I think death right away. That's just what my thought process was. Still is to this day, because I don't even know how I don't know how I'm thriving. I mean, I still have, like, I had acid reflux before, but now it's like worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's kind of like hard when we travel, go places, which rarely ever happens. Like when I go with Dad, we go, to Oregon. And then when I go with my other parent, we go back east. So it's like, it's so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to not have acid reflux on this trip. So yeah, anyways, because I do throw up a lot, so I need to be prepared for that, not throw up in the middle of the night. That's why I eat at. That's why if I as soon as I wake up, doesn't matter what time, I have to eat something like sweet. It's weird, and it's the acid reflux gotten worse. So, but anyway, so yeah, if you're upset over the fact that all of this is going on, then you got a serious problem. You got a serious problem, because if you think that this is a horrible idea, something's seriously wrong with you, because This is smart. At least it's doing something. So let's continue reading on, shall we? So Katrina Marie Rice Stephen Cassell saying, from my understanding of the city manager report, they have to slow the speed in the area before formally changing the speed limit. From the city manager report, how the speed limits are set, most people think the solution to speeding is lowering the speed limit. With a few exceptions, state law says speed limits must be set on based how fast cars actually drive. Okay. Which actually there are so many different cars, and different cars will drive at different speeds. So, well, my Apple Watch is like at 19%. I'm gonna let it get down to 10%. Then I'll charge it. They're not going until tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, okay. Otherwise, it's considered a speed trap, and that speed limit isn't enforceable. Okay, this is why we first make changes on the road to the road designed to slow down cars. Then once we can show a speed reduction, we can lower the speed limit. Stephen Cassell writes to Katrina Marie saying, I appreciate that, but I don't agree with making people slow down at 20 miles to 30 miles per hour zone, 20 miles in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. This will cause damage and injury to people simply going the speed limit. But here's the thing. Out here where it says 50 miles per hour, you've all seen that sign, right? People are going, I would say, I don't have like one of those speed things. Right? I might one of these days maybe stay on the sidewalk and maybe like hold it out and like see like those like speed things, the speed car speed things, and like see how fast actually they're going, and then maybe report it to the city before I bring it forth, because so that way I have an accurate, thing here. But yeah, so there needs to be like, this is like, because I guarantee you that the cars, like those of you that are driving past, all these streets here, you guys are driving like, I guarantee you, like, I would say like, over 100 miles per hour is how fast you guys are going. This isn't right. I mean, you guys, and especially the fact that it's like literally like just a couple inches or a couple feet away from the freaking freeway. And so it's dangerous. So all these streets down here that are like not that far from the freeway makes it so dangerous, because when people are coming off the freeway, boom, they go so fast. And we need to change the speed limit here. And I've been wanting to talk to the city about this for a long time. And I've lived here for almost 30 years. I'll be living here for the next 70 plus years. So this is my home. This is my city. Right here where I live, this is the part of the city that I live in. This is the part of the city I live. This is my part of my city for the rest of my life. And I want to make sure that it's safe. And, I mean, but yeah, we need to change the speed limit here. So let's just continue reading on. So Katrina Marie Stevens saying, I totally understand. I just posted to provide information on the protocols for changing the speed limit. I'm not sure if it's city or state or county guidelines. Julie Stravos writes, I was thinking the same thing. I guess so. When you walk on it, you're off balance. Kim Tree writes saying, I don't know what that is. Melissa Clark writes, it's hard to get good help these days. Sarah Valles writes, they are not great. Okay. Okay, let's see. What is this all about? Encinitas Council decides to remove Locadia traffic circle by Dee Dee Roulette. So let's read the 9 comments, shall we? Okay, don't see the accompanying story. Is this for real? And then Dee shares this, which you can read later. Barbara Seeger writes to Dee saying, thanks for posting the whole story. Very interesting, especially in the light of the push for those ridiculously unnecessary circles here in Carlsbad. Dee writes, exactly. We're next. Carlsbad Boulevard Tamarack will be a shit show. Here's the thing. So Encinitas is going to be removing. I don't understand this. Carlsbad, here's the thing. We are going to need these. And it's smart that we're going to need these because also on Tamarack and Carlsbad Boulevard, just all throughout Tamarack, it's like very dangerous. And remember when with that one guy who said it's not just him and his wife that live right there, but it's also everyone else, because him and his wife he said him and his wife has talked to everybody else as well that live right there in those other houses or apartments or whatever. Every single person that lives right there agrees with this, that want the roundabouts right there. And then somebody, I can't remember, somebody at city council or one of the other staff members of city council, or I can't remember who it was, but someone said that every single person that works at Vigilucci's, the very high-end restaurant right there, every single person at Vigilucci's that works there is saying, yes, we need the roundabouts. I mean, these people, they live there, they work there on the daily, they live there on the daily and nightly, they work there on the daily and nightly, and they see what goes on. They see everybody walking, biking, driving, scootering, skateboarding, carrying surfboards, carrying beach chairs, carrying this, carrying that, walking, whatever, because there's a beach right there, or beach access right there. So we need these roundabouts without a freaking doubt. We need these roundabouts. So if you're going to be all upset and you don't even live right there, you got a serious problem as well. So Dee, you're crazy. You're crazy. And so are you, Stephen Costello. You're crazy as well. Soko Juror writes, taxpayers' money being wasted, just another remove. The bar situation, it's absolutely laughable. Howard Casper writes, hello, City of Carlsbad, take the hint. Okay. Mike Schiller writes, that intersection is an odd one and sees very little traffic. And then I guess here's also the article here. It's going to read the article here. So San Diego Union Tribune, SNES Council decides to remove Leucadia traffic circle. It says here, the downtown Nissan, I guess that's where it is. Decisions comes in response to neighborhood complaints. So people in the neighborhood are complaining. Okay, let's go ahead and read this. Neighborhood complaints. Really, you guys are complaining about this. So by Barbara Henry on August 11th of this year, 2:00 p.m. 1 p.m., whatever. 3 years after installing a low-cost traffic circle at a Y-shaped intersection in residential area of Leucadia, Encinitas will yank it out and try stop signs instead. So let me get this straight. Let me get this freaking straight here. 3 years they were put in. Now they're gonna put in stop signs right there. You think stop signs is a good idea? Heck no. Nobody follows the stop signs. Nobody follows the traffic lights. They're dangerous. There's only a few of us that follow it. Only a few of us that follow it. And you know what? Those that don't follow it, you guys are the ones that are being upset and in a tizzy because you guys want to continue doing this, don't you? You want to continue driving unsafely. You guys want to continue driving unsafely as driving about 1,000,000 miles per hour, it seems like, right? And that's what it looks like too. So if this is, I don't even know. I mean, okay, let's just read the rest of this before I even decide whether I'm disappointed in Encinitas City Council after this, or I don't even know. Let's see. On Wednesday, the city council voted 4-1, with Councilmember Kelly Hines opposed, to remove the plastic bollards and yellow paint and that delineate the traffic circle at the intersection of Andrew Avenue, Lewis Avenue, and Hillcrest Drive. The council directed the city staff to replace the circle system with stop signs on each of the 3 roadways. Hines opposed this move, saying she would prefer yield signs because she believes stop signs will give pedestrians and cyclists a false sense of security. Also, I mean, I love Kelly Hines. She's amazing, but you know what? I don't see yield signs being an option either. I'm sorry, but I don't. People need to stop being upset over roundabouts. You are giving people the opportunity to do what? We will go ahead and play. We'll make this a long ass freaking video if we need to. And we will go on my channel and we will go on here and we will click on that one video. Because what? So right here, this father-in-law of that mother listen to what he says. So we'll go ahead and play the whole video from start to finish after this article. But we should bring that up. Because, yeah, she cited an incident in Carlsbad where an e-biker was killed after a vehicle failed to stop at a stop sign in a residential neighborhood. So basically, what that father-in-law, the guy in the brown shirt, what you're going to hear him talk about is what happened to his daughter-in-law. That, and also of why that happened. Because that lady who hit her and killed her decided to be unsafe. And when you have stop signs and traffic lights and yield signs in certain areas, you're giving people the opportunity, like that lady who is now in prison. You're giving these people, like that lady, who is now facing, I hope, God, life without parole, since California, we don't have the death penalty. I'm hoping that since we don't have the death penalty here in California, I'm hoping that she got life without parole. So basically, when you add stop signs and traffic lights and yield signs in certain places, you're giving people like that lady who hit and killed that poor mother the opportunity to be unsafe, the opportunity to do whatever the F they want, giving them the opportunity to drive a million miles an hour. That is what you're doing. That is what you're doing. So it's funny how we've gone from arguing about flags to now arguing about actual city stuff, right? I find it funny. I don't know why, but I do. I find it odd. I find it weird that we're arguing. Oh my God, we're going back and forth with this issue here. It's funny that we've gone from arguing about flags to now arguing about actual city stuff. So when I play that video from that council meeting, you will hear that father-in-law of that mother got hit and killed. talk about that. That if you add traffic lights, yield signs, stop signs in certain areas, you are giving people like that lady who hopefully is facing life now without parole the opportunity to be unsafe, the opportunity to do what they want in their car, to give them opportunity to drive about 1,000,000 miles an hour and hit and kill people, hit and severely injure people. I mean, one of them. There's so much going on in this city, so much going on in Encinitas as well. And I love Kelly Hines. She's amazing. She's wonderful. She does a lot of good for the city of Encinitas. However, this right here, I don't think so. I'm glad she opposed this idea, but you know what? There's no need for yield sign. There's no need for stop signs. And like with the 50-mile-per-hour thing right here, it's not safe. It's not safe. And I don't like it. I do not like it. I hate it. We need to hold people accountable. We need to add roundabouts. And what I would like to propose at some point is this, that Encinitas and here in Carlsbad, I'm going to go ahead and propose at some point down the line, one lane traffic, one lane for cars, one lane for bikes and scooters, okay? Because I haven't figured that all out in my head yet, but part of it's because people are cutting each other off, going really, really fast. Let's go ahead and read the rest of this article, and then we'll go ahead and watch my video that I recorded that that I'll do with city council meetings, right? Put on my channel so you guys have to look for it. Let's go and read this article. People who live near the Y-shaped intersection of Andrew, Ellis, and Hillcrest told the city council they couldn't wait for the ugly low-budget traffic circle with its public marker post to vanish. Okay. Derek Sesqua told the council that it had been a source of trouble ever since it was installed, mentioning the large trucks get stuck in the plastic bollards. Daily and drivers sometimes go around the circle and then in the reverse direction. He said the Y-shaped intersection was never a source of traffic accidents until the circle system's markers were installed. None of us thought it was necessary to fix a problem that didn't exist, he said. The city traffic engineer, Abe Bennington, confirmed that there was no history of accidents recorded at that intersection, but said that's not unusual for residential areas where low-speed accidents or fender benders are often not reported. Mayor Tony Kranz said some area residents opposed the city's initial proposal for controlling the intersection stop signs some 3 years ago. That's how the city ended up pursuing a traffic circle, he said. And also, here's the thing. And again, I don't know if between now and mid to late 2025, if for city of Carlsbad, if we're going to end up having this, debate, a few more times, but it did, even though it did get past 3-1. So I don't know if we're going to end up having some more meetings about it as part of the agenda item between now and then, because of the deadline to tell our traffic engineer people in Carlsbad for it to be okay, let's do this, let's get it going, is to mid to late 2025, and then that's when the project will get started for those roundabouts, and then boom, mid to late 2026, there we go, we have them installed and they're ready to be driven, biked, walked, right? So we need these roundabouts where they're at. For people that do not like it, again, we can make this video as long as we need to. I do not care. I need to talk about this. there is no need to be all upset over traffic circles, roundabouts, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. And if 3 years ago, if Encinitas, if I didn't know about this, if 3 years ago, okay, if this was, I don't know, if it was put in the wrong place, then Encinitas, okay, then put it somewhere else. Don't add something, figure something out. Maybe put speed bumps. Put speed bumps or speed tables. Put speed tables, speed bumps, or speed bumps right there. Do not add stop signs. Why was what my question? My question is, was the topic of adding speed tables, speed bumps, or speed humps as a replacement for this an option? Or was it just the replacing it with, in that area, right? Replacing it with a stop sign or a yield sign. That's hearing. So that's my question.
Ask away, Austin.
I don't know why Siri does that. So let's continue reading before we play that video. A full-scale traffic circle with landscaping, special curbs, and sidewalks, such as on the Santa Fe Drive, could cost the city upward of several $100,000. So Encinitas went with the low-cost, quick-build option, paint, and later some plastic bollards, Banding said. Many area residents and council member Bruce Ethlers said they would like to return the intersection to its original state, where it was an uncontrolled intersection. Banding said that he couldn't recommend that from a safety position. The mayor said Encinitas would now be liable if it removed its current traffic circle measures and didn't replace them with anything else. So I'm confused. I'm so confused by this article, to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm so confused because if Tony Kranz, which is their new mayor right now, right? It's Catherine Blakespear is where Sacramento. So in like Washington D.C. So if I'm so confused. So if the mayor and another council member, including Kelly Hines, is saying, look, like, hey, it's the city of Encinitas should be liable if we removed this and we didn't replace it, or blah blah blah, it would be liable, blah blah, right? There's so many collisions, accidents, fender benders in the extreme way if we don't do something. And I mean, I don't know what is going on in that part of Encinitas, so I don't really know exactly. But for those of you that live in that area that were okay with this, that are okay with this, that were okay with this, please comment down below, because what your thoughts on it, and because I'm confused why it was passed 4-1. Was it passed 4-1? Does the city of Encinitas, like, because I haven't been to an Encinitas city council meeting in like a long time, and so I don't really remember how it all works. Because with Carlsbad, yeah, we have our public comments, we have it's because like the state of Carlsbad, yeah, we have our public comments on both sides, right? And depending how many speakers there are on one certain topic, now Mayor Blackburn will ask, hey, like, can we get it to 1 minute, so we can get through the agenda item. So I don't, and then like, yeah, we speak on it, we get up, speak when our name is spoken, when our name is said, we get up, we speak. we're going to read from our phones or paper, and then we move on, right? And then after all the speakers, then the city council and the mayor will have their comments on it, their questions, blah blah, and then vote. So again, I have not been to a Encinitas city council meeting in years. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I have not been to a Encinitas city council meeting in like years. So I don't really remember how it all works. Because again, with this article, I am so confused, to be honest. Before we play the video, because this is important, I really want you guys to listen to, especially with that father-in-law of that mother who passed away, who was hit and killed by a reckless driver. Okay? I want you all to especially listen to what he says, what he has to say, not just everyone else. And so it makes no sense if Mayor Tony Kranz and two other city council members were like, hey, we need to do something, otherwise we're going to be held liable. But again, adding the stop signs or yield sign, quite honestly, I don't think it's a smart idea. My thought is, I don't live in Encinitas, but my thought is, again, my question to you guys is, that live in that area of Encinitas, almost a Carlsbad, that area of Encinitas, and for those of you that went to that meeting that spoke against it being removed, did any of you that got up and spoke against the traffic circle, so to speak, being removed, with 3 years being it put in? I mean, did any of you guys that went there to the meeting and spoke, did any of you ask any questions? Were any of your questions involving, if you guys had any questions, did you guys ask, like, hey, can we add speed bumps or speed ups or speed tables right here instead? So that way there's no accidents or anything like that happening. So that way we'll at least do something, and we do something safe. Because I think stop signs and yield signs is not going to help. Did anyone say anything like exactly the way I said it? Comment down below. Because again, if it got past 4-1, I mean, I'm confused. Anyways, let's go ahead and watch my video here, 25 minutes long. Let's just watch the whole thing.
My name is Don Thorstensen. My wife and I live at this intersection in the white condos right.
And again, this guy is going to be talking about this is about Carlsbad. So we need to have we need to have these Carlsbad. We need it. We cannot for those of us that are 100% for these two roundabouts to be added starting mid to late 2025, and the project to end to mid late 2026. They're both completed and it's all done. Those of us that are for it, obviously we cannot wait for this to freaking happen. Like, I can't wait for mid to late 2025 for it to start. I can't wait for the project to start. And it's I'm excited for it to begin. So anyways, this is about the roundabouts in Carlsbad. Again, you all know me. When I record city council meetings, I only record the people that are speaking. Again, this takes me a long time to edit and everything like that. So, because I only have the people that are like speaking for something that I am for, that is the right thing, and people that are speaking against it, like the flags that Burkholder wanted, those people that were against that. So again, please like this video, please subscribe, because especially when I make these videos, city council videos, it does take me a long time to edit and then download, and then like edit, download, put it on my computer, put it on YouTube. So please like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's get to 2,000 subscribers. Let's continue out the video.
Carlsbad and Tamarack, on the behalf of the two of us and the majority of the residents that live there, I just want to say we're 100% in support of the recommended roundabout. Most of the concerns we've heard at the traffic mobility commissions have dealt with concern over how could this possibly work? How is it possible that this does what it does? I just want to say, just because something's difficult to understand how it functions doesn't mean that it doesn't function. If you humor me for a second, you go back 100 years in time, we had a city council meeting to build an airport for this thing called human flight. You'd be laughed out of the room because people didn't understand flying. We'll get into a 200,000 pound tin can right now and fly across the country. And we're able to do that because people spent their careers studying, analyzing, and improving aerodynamic flight, right? Laminar flow, traffic of air on a wing, high pressure, low pressure, we go up. Even if we don't understand that, we're willing to do it because we've seen that it works. The same thing is true here. We might not get.
And again, I want you all to especially listen to that gentleman who is the father-in-law of Christine Embry. Just remembered her name just now. I want you all to listen to especially that guy, because what he says is super important. Everything or what they're all saying is important, but please especially listen to what that guy says, because the father-in-law of Christine Embry, because it's super important that you do. Because again, like I was saying earlier, that, you know, with you know, when you add speed, when you add like traffic signals, stop signs, yield signs in certain areas, especially where Christine Embry was killed and where her baby daughter, taller daughter, was thrown off the bike in her baby bike seat. You know, it's the places like that. I mean, you're giving people like that lady who hit and killed the mother, Christine Embry. I mean, rest in peace. It sucks that, you know, now her because really what that lady who did what she did, she took that she robbed the opportunity of that child, you know, starting as a baby, as a toddler, growing up without a mother. That sucks. And that's super heartbreaking. So not only she killed somebody when she decided to get in her car that day, but also she robbed somebody that day. She robbed a family, a husband of a wife, that child, a mother. She robbed a family member by killing them, by deciding to get in her car that day and drive however fast she was going. We need to have the way that the majority of the city is built, all throughout Carlsbad, portions of how it's built with the streets is unsafe. And I literally hate and despise, you know, that's 50 miles per hour right here. I hate that it's like that. I really do. It's not safe. It's not safe at all. Anyways, let's continue watching the video. And then also what Mona Gacken said as well. Super important. So let's continue watching.
And it's hard to wrestle with laminar flow of traffic as all intersections can enter or all directions can enter at the same time. But we've seen it work up and down our coastal communities. So you guys have a really solid proposal in front of you that was unanimously voted by your Transportation or Traffic Mobility Commission. I dearly hope you weight their recommendation heavier than the opinions of all of us in the audience. The sign says what's right for Carlsbad is not always popular. I think you got a win-win. You got a proposal that was unanimously proposed from the committee. It beats the alternatives in every measure available. And based on the data from the prior commission meetings, half or more of your constituents are in favor of it.
Well, I'll be right back. I gotta grab my other can that I bought last night. This one, but the other one. I'll be right back. So keep watching this video. I'll be right back. By the way, these koozies, real quick here, I'm not sponsored by, I forget the name of the store at the outlet mall, but it's a new store at the outlet mall, and they sell these like really cool cozies. I got the fishing ones, which by the way, I got a couple cans for our trip. And so, I don't have enough money to go to the mall today and buy one, because I knew I was gonna buy it. I should have thought of that. I don't know, but these are cool. This is still mine. This is still mine, by the way. I'm not giving it to anybody, but I wanted to bring it with me anyways to show everybody up there, especially when, because I was told that we're gonna go fishing while we're down there, so I'm down. I know, despite the fishing trauma, the fish trauma that I will still participate in fishing. However, those fish treats, I am not all about. Like, I'll go fishing. If I catch one, I'll just throw it back. I'll still go fishing, but I will throw it back, and I'm not gonna bring it back to our cabin. Not happening. But I'll still go fishing, take pictures of the fish, blah blah blah. But that's it, okay? And do not because those videos, any videos and pictures that I take while on this trip, they will not be uploaded till next week. Okay? Especially, I have like more on here, but I'm gonna be bringing my iPad with me so that way I can, because I want to watch movies and stuff on the way there and stuff. But anyways, so I just wanted to show you guys. So I'll be right back. Hold on. Keep watching the video.
So I think it's an opportunity that it is right and it does serve the community the way it's supposed to be. So thank you very, very much for your time and for your service to the community.
11 months ago, my daughter-in-law was killed at the intersection of Basswood and Valley. The driver who hit her chose to be distracted. She chose to ignore speed limit signs. She chose to ignore signs in gardens saying, please slow down, our kids are here. She chose to ignore a stop sign, and she chose to ignore the word stop painted in the street. If you vote for the intersection, you're allowing people to make decisions. Most drivers are good. Most drivers care about each other. Some drivers don't. The lady who entered the intersection and ran over my daughter-in-law said, well, she didn't notice it. She said, I didn't mean to do it. How distracted was she? Her car ran over my daughter-in-law with the front wheel, then ran over her with the back wheel. The trauma surgeon said it was the worst trauma he had seen in 40 years of trauma surgery because she chose to be distracted. You have to vote for the roundabout. You have to make bicyclists, of which I'm one, and drivers of automobiles and trucks engage with the road and slow down. I found something out about the city of Carlsbad. They used to have a program called Livable Streets, where streets were designed for everybody, not just cars. They were designed for all of us. My daughter-in-law is no longer here. I pray that you'll make a decision that another family doesn't have to face you like our family does. Doesn't have to wonder, well, why was our daughter-in-law taken away? Thank you.
Followed by Michael Hadrick. a resident of, Tamrock Avenue and Carlsbad, along with Don, we're right next door. And I also like the idea of a roundabout. I've seen it work. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I've seen it work very well there. Traffic moving much easier once they installed the roundabouts, 4 of them between Allentown and Lancaster, speeded traffic up. I could cut my trip almost in half to get there just because traffic really never stopped anymore.
So it came to my mind real quick here. So what I mean by is Encinitas different than here in Carlsbad, because what I'm saying is, because it was passed 4-1 for them to remove the traffic circle, right? Do they vote on it based on what the community says, or do they also comment as well? Because again, like I said, I don't remember exactly how Encinitas City Council works, because I haven't been to a city council meeting in like forever, it feels like. And so, I don't really remember how it works. So do they go based off, like I said, do they go based off of the community input, or do they go based off of like does the mayor and council members also have a say, and like they speak on what they want as well, besides just talking about it, talking about it in articles? Because I mean, like I said, I've been in SNES meetings all the time, so that's just that's why I'm asking, because I don't really remember how it works. So yeah, if they go based off of what the city says, like the community says, or do they also have their own? They get to also like comment as well. So yeah, all right. Because I forgot how it works. So anyways, I don't know if like every city council is different. All right, let's continue watching.
The noise that comes from everybody stopped at that light, the bikes especially. We stop conversations, we wait for the traffic to go by, and then we pick up a conversation again. We also turn the TV, we stop it while the noise travels past us. The dirt that comes from that highway is also amazing. We watch people run across that street trying to beat that timer. And that's scary, especially when there are kids there as well, and all the e-bikes. So I am here in favor of a roundabout. I think they're very effective, and I like the ones that have been put in so far. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, like I keep saying, the one that we have right now, Carlsbad, is one on State Street that goes, you go from Carlsbad to Oceanside to Carlsbad, right? That one works well. That one was put in like years and years ago, and it works. It freaking works. So based off of the one that we have right now on freaking like State Street to enter Oceanside, and coming from Oceanside to enter back in Carlsbad, if you want to come back to Carlsbad that direction, it works. I'm telling you, it works. All of us that are in support of having 2 more roundabouts put here in Carlsbad, it's because of that roundabout. Part of it is because of that roundabout. Not just because of the crazy drivers and what have you, but also because of the fact that the one that we have right now, it works. We've had it for years on end, and it works. So people that drive there daily, like Rich Numerage and a couple others, say that Carlsbad, oh yeah, I drive it, I bike it, I pedestrian, whatever, on the daily right there. Oh, it doesn't work. Well, what are you talking about? Are you just you're just saying that just to say that? Because you don't really mean it. It works. So let's continue watching the video.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Hedrick. I've been a longtime resident here at Carlsbad. I've gone through that intersection by car, by bicycle over the last 25 years, most of it by foot, and sometimes pushing my kids in strollers when they were toddlers. My kids now pass through that intersection, mostly walking with surfboards under their arms. We have never felt safe going through that intersection, and we've witnessed so many close calls, people running red lights. When the light turns yellow, rather than slowing down and stopping at the intersection, a good majority of cars speed up. So rather than going through the intersection at 30 miles an hour, they're going through at 40, 50 miles an hour. And we've never felt safe. That lack of safety has been exacerbated by a death. It was mentioned here that what problem are we fixing? There was a death right on Carlsbad Boulevard, I can't remember how many years ago, that happened right in front of my mom's condo. A car was speeding at 60 plus miles an hour through the very same intersection, lost control of their vehicle, crossed the median, hit a pedestrian who was enjoying their afternoon walk on the beach. So people have died along that stretch of highway because people have been driving too fast. I noticed agenda item number 11 is that we have some sort of silver certification of being a data-driven, well-managed city. Well, I'm asking the city council and mayor to be data-driven in this particular decision. As was mentioned, what is popular for Carlsbad is not always right, and what is right is not always popular. And so
I have noticed that when we all look at that sign that's permanently on that wall right there. It's like somewhere like way over here. I've noticed that every city council meeting we've all look at that sign and we talk about it. And then a lot of us get up and speak and we talk about it, that sign that's been sitting there in the city of Carlsbad building for like a long time, for like forever. And so we talk about it and we mention it. And it's, to so many of us, it's such a weird sign. But at the same time, it's like it's such a weird and awkward sign, I would say. I don't know how to feel about it. What's always right isn't always popular. I mean, and again, with adding the roundabouts, we need to have them. And I'm glad it got past 3-2. At the same time, people got to stop being all on tizzy because we're gonna have them. And again, I don't really, y'all know me. I pause my videos, pause other videos, whatever. But if I have something to say, but yeah, we need these, and we need them. There's just no two ways about it. We need them, and we need them now, which is gonna be, we get to use these 2 roundabouts as of mid to late 2026. So, which I think we can all safely say that we're all excited about it. And like the way that people are driving so fast, and we need to do something about that. And roundabouts are the best option to go with. We need to have these roundabouts. It's just the only safe option to go with. There's no other way. There's no 2 ways about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Sorry, but it's gonna happen. And for those of you that don't like it, it's gonna happen whether you like it or not, because we need to have a safer option, or a safe option, I should say. And when people come out and they say that they don't feel safe, their family doesn't feel safe, that becomes a problem. As in, we need to fix it because something's not right. And as far as me going to city council and the mayor, excuse me, about the Carlsbad Cares group being taken down off of Facebook, and having that one individual being taken down off of Carlsbad Cares, Carlsbad Pulse or Carlsbad California group or whatever. You know, it's again, one, it's the only way, and two, and also with the reason why I'm only going to talk to Keith, Priya, Teresa, and Luna about that is because the way I really I didn't like I didn't like Melanie Burkholder before, and I don't like her even more now. So I don't feel safe or comfortable talking to her about it. Just the others, the other three about others about it, because to me, Melanie Burkholder, she doesn't exist to me anymore as a city council person, because she doesn't do what's right for the city of Carlsbad. And considering the fact that, you know, District 2, which is right there, and where these two roundabouts are going to be, and where the other two roundabouts are going to be, that's her district. She doesn't want her district to be safe, is basically what she's getting at. She doesn't want her district to be safe. So think about that. Think about that for a second. Because she doesn't want to do what's right for her city, for her part of her city that she lives in. And also, Carlsbad Village is a high tourist destination. There's a lot of tourists in the summertime, and you know, if you don't want your city to be safe, Melanie Burkholder, then get out. Get out. Because you don't, if you're not gonna make sure that the part of Carlsbad that you live, that you reside in, that, I mean, if you're just gonna, make your city, the part of Carlsbad where you live, unsafe, uninhabitable, then you got a serious problem, Burkholder. So for those of you that live in District 2 area, which involves Carlsbad Boulevard, Tamarack, all that, like, really think about what I'm saying right now about Burkholder, because she doesn't belong to sit there. She belongs to do a different job. And that doesn't involve being in politics whatsoever. I mean, she could be on the news all day long, all she wants. She can sit there on her phone or computer all she wants and tweet all she wants, whatever she wants to tweet. I don't care. But she cannot at all be on city council, because if she's gonna not take care of her constituents, then why is she sitting there? Think about that.
What we need to do is have a decision that's data driven. Again, we have had a fine presentation by the fine city staff here, and I'm asking you to consider the data and common sense. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry again. So really, when it comes down to it, because this is in Burkholder's district, everybody who's saying, look, we don't feel safe, we walk here, our kids walk there, our kids bike there, we don't feel safe, it's unsafe. They're really speaking to Burkholder because it's her district. That's where she resides. That's where she lives, resides, whatever. And that's her district. And so if because she's saying no about this, and again, people are feeling unsafe because they've almost gotten hit. There's been so many accidents there. I've seen it. There's a lot of accidents that happen there. There's a lot of people that walk there. There's a lot of people that are carrying their surfboards, their buggy boards. They're, they're walking their toddlers and their strollers. A lot of people driving. A lot of people walking, skateboarding, what have you. And it is unsafe for people people don't feel safe doing that. And yet Melanie Burkholder seemingly doesn't seem to care. So to Melanie Burkholder, really think about what you said, because you don't seem to care at all about your own constituents.
Mayor, council members. I'd like to see Carlsbad come into the 21st century. Traffic signals are an early 1900s solution to traffic control that has enabled drunk, speeding, and reckless drivers to kill, maim, and injure pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers for over a century. Cities across the US and the world have implemented thousands of roundabouts that have saved countless lives and enabled smoother flow of traffic at many intersections, including those that experience frequent congestion and the presence of pedestrians. They do take some getting used to, mostly because of the requirement to slow down when you approach an intersection. Slowing traffic is the only sure way to reduce accidents and fatalities and injuries. It is the one way to reduce them in Carlsbad, and roundabouts slow traffic. I want to make one comment about the claim that the State Street roundabout is somehow indicative of what the experience would be in the Tamarack roundabout. The numbers that are pulled out of the reports are not appropriately used to assess the risk of accidents in Tamarack. An assessment of risk requires far more data, and picking out numbers from a data set that includes a huge amount of data is simply not appropriate and should not be used to judge the safety of the intersection at Tamarack. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christina McGoldrick, and I have been a homeowner, resident, taxpayer, and mother of 3 boys in Carlsbad for the past 8 years. I am here to voice support for agenda item number 10 this evening. Myself and other residents in District 2 and across the city support this item. The fire department, police department, emergency services, city staff, the Carlsbad Traffic and Mobility Commission. All of these organizations have voiced their support. These are educated professionals that can be trusted in their area of expertise. Roundabouts have been proven locally and nationally and internationally to be a safe, environmentally sustainable, and low-maintenance alternative to stoplight intersections. They have been established as an effective, non-manned 24-hour DUI checkpoint for drivers. They save lives on streets that have a continual rate of regular DUIs and excessive speeding. This directly applies to Carlsbad Boulevard. While change can be difficult, and historically drivers in the United States are trained through the DMV to yield to the right, one suggestion is to add visual signs to each roundabout that instructs and trains drivers to yield to the left. I understand that change can be difficult and requires a growth mindset. However, this could be added as an item on the community education campaign regarding safer streets together. Carlsbad residents and visitors would directly benefit from a visual education campaign that directly teaches them how to use roundabouts properly. The 3 E's are essential: engineering, education, and enforcement. It is crucial to properly engineer the roads based on their current public use and populations. Engineering is the foundation that supports the success of effective education and efficient enforcement. We're asking every council member to vote yes on agenda item 10.1 this evening. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Robert Wilkinson, King Hill Road here in Carlsbad, and from that vantage point, I use this intersection on a weekly basis as a motorist, as a cyclist, and as a pedestrian. With that, I am in favor of the roundabout. The efficiency and the safety of the roundabout are paramount, but also the aesthetics. Tamarack Avenue is unique in Carlsbad. It is the only arterial that comes to Carlsbad Boulevard and provides you with a view of the Great Pacific. Unfortunately, that view is blemished by the structure that's in the center of it, the structure that looks like an outhouse, because it's the restrooms. Now, we certainly need the restrooms. They're needed use in that area. But we could do much better in the appearance of that structure. It should take on its context of being at the ocean and being part of that one and only view of the arterial. So, in relatively small amount of money, we can remodel the building and make it a positive part of that view. Granted, it's probably the state's facility, but I'm sure with the expertise in the manager's office that we can coordinate a working relationship with the state on it. Okay, thank you.
Thea Gokan, followed by Mona Gokan.
Hello, my name is Sophia Gokin. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. As a 15-year-old high school student, I wanted to voice my support for the roundabout intersection in Carlsbad for two reasons. First, safety. Studies have shown that roundabouts can reduce fatal crashes by up to 90% and serious injuries by up to 76% compared to traditional signalized intersections. As young drivers, many of us are just beginning to navigate the roads independently, and ensuring our safety should be a top priority. Second, environmental and traffic impact. Roundabouts promote efficient traffic flow. They keep the traffic moving smoothly, reducing congestion and delays, and reducing car exhaust pollution. This not only benefits daily commuters, but also our planet. Therefore, I urge this council to consider the long-term advantages of introducing a roundabout intersection in our community. Let us prioritize the safety of our residents, improve traffic flow, and environmental impact. By making this investment today, we can create a lasting legacy for future generations, ensuring a vibrant and thriving city for all of us, including future generations, since currently only 15% of Carlsbad's generation or residents are over 65 years old. Thank you for your dedication for making our city a better place to live, work, and grow. Together, we can build a future we can all be proud of. Thank you.
My name is Mona Gokan, and I'm a 10-year resident of Carlsbad. I'm also the former chair of the Traffic and Mobility Commission, and I'm a civil transportation engineer. A few months ago, a post on Nextdoor caught my attention. It was titled, "Carlsbad staff is getting ready to stick it to us again." This post and comments not only expressed opposition to roundabouts, but also suggested that city engineers have personal motives for implementing them. Individuals, whether trained in roundabout design or not, seem to believe that they then the experienced staff what the safest option for these intersections are. So my question is to council and fellow residents. As the city searches for and hires the most qualified professionals for engineering positions, pays them competitive salaries and benefits if their expert opinions and decisions are not trusted. And even worse, the public is attacking staff personally. When they propose something, when staff propose something that they believe is the best option for our city because they're using their education and experience, public is attacking them because it's against what they want to see. It's like entering a surgery room and telling the doctors that Their years of education and experience are great, but we know better than them for what's best for this patient, because, we choose them. So I believe it's time to trust the professionals we have hired who are trained to analyze traffic patterns, safety measures, and environmental impact. Thank you for your consideration. And by the way, once again, Carlsbad, 65 years old or older, it's only made up of 15% of the population. Our residents, 85% of our then the experienced staff what the safest option for these intersections are. So my question is to council and fellow residents. As the city searches for and hires the most qualified professionals for engineering positions, pays them competitive salaries and benefits, if their expert opinions and decisions are not by Judy Frankel.
Honorable Mayor, City Council members, I'm sure if you recognize my name, I've sent you a lot of information on this. My wife did want to come and address it, Patty. Unfortunately, she's a regulatory compliance officer and she's dealing with problems in India, so she couldn't get, she's on a conference call. So I think she said, she actually gave me something to read to you. So this is my wife, Patty Knudsen, who has been a cyclist for over 20 years, recreational. She commutes to work, which she did before COVID. And we also run errands on our new e-bike. And she also leads a walking group. For over 30 years, she's led a walking group that goes out every weekend with up to 20, 30 people through the area. So she's very well versed and has intimate relations with these types of intersections. So if Carlsbad is serious about protecting the lives of cyclists and pedestrians, roundabouts are the way to go. At an intersection, the detectors embedded in the pavement to detect a cyclist in the lane are based on magnetic induction, which requires something made of ferrous material to trigger it. By the way, my wife is an electrical engineer, so she knows all this stuff too. My bicycle, as many others on the road, is made of a carbon fiber, so it's not detectable. This means if I want to trigger a signal, I need to go to the sidewalk and push the button, and then I'm trapped outside of the travel lanes. Or I hope a car comes up behind me. Some of the intersections have cameras to detect cyclists, but my experience is that they only work about 50% of the time. If I want to make a left turn while on my bike, I must cross 2 to 3 lanes of traffic to get the left turn lane. If there's cars in those lanes, they will not let me cross, and I end up having to stop over to the right and wait until traffic clears so I can get across to the turn lane. I've had motorists honk, yell at me when I'm in the left turn lane because they don't believe I'm allowed there. When I do get to the lane, I have a difficult time.
Carlsbad resident also for 25 years. I'm in support for option 1 for the roundabout. All traffic deaths have been increasing everywhere, and speed is one of the greatest causes. Personally, I use this intersection often as a motorist, cyclist, and pedestrian. As a runner, I cross here to run the coast. A pedestrian must push a brake button and stop all traffic at a signalized intersection, then hope a motorist doesn't blow the light or make a right turn on green while having the walk signal in the intersection. A family member of mine was killed this way while walking in broad daylight in a signalized crossing. I myself missed being hit inches when coming out of North Tamarack College by the middle school on my bike when a motorist blew the red light going on college towards Oceanside. I've personally witnessed while I was a pedestrian on the coast 2 separate incidents where cyclists were right hooked by right-turning motorists at intersections. This doesn't happen at roundabouts where cyclists do not ride to the right of right-turning vehicles inside the roundabout. When crossing at a roundabout as a pedestrian, traffic is only coming from one direction as you cross to center, and you are only crossing 1 lane at a time. You are only slowing traffic while crossing that short distance, not waiting for a full cycle of a light. Whether one pedestrian is crossing or many, it is a much safer situation. Traffic flow is not held up and keeps moving. The same cries have been heard everywhere when change is suggested. The same thing happened in Encinitas with streetscape. Armageddon has not manifested where roundabouts have been installed, not in Encinitas. The traffic flow has maintained the same or better through there. And yeah, if you build it, they will come. You know, if you want to drive fast and have a lot of traffic, then you can use the 5 or you can use El Camino Real. But the Carlsbad,
Followed by Joe Whitaker.
Used. That's embarrassing. But, I, have looked at the data that, Steve Linky actually sent me a copy of it, and I came to completely different conclusions. So, and I sent that to you in an email. I don't have time to go over that. What I'd like to talk about tonight is just, I had a smart cycling class last night, and we had 21 people. 3 of them were members of my club. The other 18 were parents and children, ages 12 to 17. And so we discussed things like cycling and the law and then crashes and how to avoid them, and did all these things. There was some really good responses, even from a 12-year-old, to questions that I asked. So we, on this Saturday, we're going to do the road session, 6 hours of that. We do parking lot drills and a bunch of other things. One of the last things we're going to do is ride from Oceanside down to the Carlsbad roundabout at State Street. And so we teach them the 2 safe ways to get through on a bike. One of them is to get up on the sidewalk, get off your bike, and walk. And then you can walk across the intersection and you look one way. You make sure that the driver you make contact with the driver. It's a human-to-human response. And then you cross half of it, you look the other way. Nobody's going to walk across that thing and just without knowing that the driver is stopping, but they always do there. That's the opposite of what happens when I cross at the Army Navy Academy, where all they have is flashing lights. That doesn't work. So the roundabout works well. As a cyclist, then after we do that, then we go up and we do the
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me today. My name is Joe Whitaker. I'm a D1 resident. I'm a frequent user of the intersection at question, sometimes by bike with my small child on the back, frequently by car, and frequently on my skateboard, as well as pedestrian and running. I come to you today to not make a better point than has already been made here today, but just to say I'm in strong support of the roundabout option. I would like to commend I would like to commend staff and the consultants for their excellent work and making their case, frankly, airtight. I'm for better throughput, I'm for better safety, and frankly, a better appearance. That's something that hasn't been mentioned today, but the hardscape and landscape combination is very attractive. So I would like to commend that as well.
So thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah, so anyways, love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. All right. Peace.